This week, we are talking about the PS5 controller reveal, E3's plans for the future, the Netflix comedy Space Force, Corona's continuing effects on the entertainment industry, and more on You Heard with Nerds.
All right, welcome into the podcast. I'm Brett.
I'm Dorian.
And we got some nerd news for you guys.
We do.
All right. Happy Corona quarantine.
Happy Corona quarantine.
We are still in this. I'm hoping this is over soon so that we can get back to normal.
Yep. So this is our first podcast that we are recording remotely.
Yeah, and the way that we're doing it is through a website, and so we'll see how this goes.
Yep.
But let's talk about some PlayStation news. They had some reveals, obviously, this last week, and their big reveal was their PS5 controller.
Yeah, we know what it looks like now. We kind of got an idea of what they're going for and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I was surprised kind of by this, honestly. Not that they dropped, information about their controller, but just like the look of it. Now, there's some details on this. Do you want to run through the details on kind of the controller, at least what they've given us so far?
Yeah, sure. So basically, the PS5 is going to be dropping the name DualShock for its controller. It's going to go with DualSense. And basically, it's designed with a more of a focus on haptic feedback. For those of you who don't know, that's basically kind of like the N64 Rumble Pack. It's like the vibrations you feel in your controller, or like, when you're on your smartphone and you feel like a little vibration or kind of like some feedback. So, and the way they describe it is, they said with the PS5, the PS5's controller's haptic feedback is you'll kind of feel like more variety in like how you feel the vibrations in the controller. So like you'll feel like kind of like a slow grittiness when you're driving a car through the mud in a game.
Right.
If you're pulling back like a bowstring on a bow and arrow, you'll feel like more tension in that. So it also is going to be coming with like a microphone array that allows you to chat without a headset. So it'll still support a headphone jack. So if you still want to do it the old school way, that's totally fine. No word yet on how good that microphone array is, but we'll see when people get their hands on it. So, and it still appears to have like a touchpad, just like the PS4. So, that's another touchpad that Sony can neglect on pretty much, gameplay wise and all that.
Yeah. I don't know you don't really use it. Like I use it in Metal Gear Solid and that's about it that I can remember.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, no, it's one of those things where it's like, it seems kind of like a cool idea, but really just has not been used like really all that much in other games. I think that's because, when you're developing like especially for third party games, when you're having to develop for two consoles, you kind of need to have, design your game with a controller that doesn't have the touchpad in mind, which would be the Xbox's controller.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but anyhow, just general thoughts and impressions on this. I mean, I like the sleek and futuristic design. I mean, it's definitely kind of a departure from like how their other controllers have looked. Hopefully it's as comfortable as the PS4 controller, just because I think they really nailed the comfortability factor with the PS4's controller. So,
yeah, I mean, I would argue if you took like, okay, I think that this design looks really cool. I like the design a lot. It does, like you said, it has that futuristic kind of look. Now, as far as comfortability for a PS4 controller compared to other ones on the market, I think it's the least comfortable.
Really?
Yeah, I think that you have probably the Xbox One X controller is probably the most ergonomic.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
I haven't played enough on the Xbox One to really get a feel for it here.
Yeah, I would say that one's a little bit better than PS4, and then I like the Switch Pro better than the PS4.
The Switch Pro I feel like is the most comfortable one for just the hands, just because I have bigger hands, so I mean, it's like it just kind
Yeah.
of fits more, you know, or tailor made to that. But yeah,
Yeah, and this really does look like the design of the Xbox One controllers. At least I think the Xbox One Pro controller. I can't remember which one came out with the Xbox One X, but it was like a little bit sleeker than the original design. And I think this is, pretty close as far as the ergonomic look of the controller itself.
yeah,
Now, I don't know much about the haptic thing. Like I've heard other like consoles talking about that, and I don't know if it was Xbox One X, like the Pro controller or what, talking about kind of the same thing of, but here's the deal. Like I
hmm
understand the haptic feedback and all that stuff, but how much does that actually matter in a game?
no, I mean, it's honestly, I don't think it's going to drastically change how you play the game.
No.
It's not going to be
We're not
like,
in haptic suits like Ready Player One.
right, exactly. I mean, that'd be dope, but
That'd be cool. Yeah.
but no, I think really it's just kind of one of those things where it's just like this is still Sony, like still making a traditional controller. They're just kind of playing around with like some ideas to see if like it becomes an industry standard here. I mean, they it's kind of like doing what the opposite of Nintendo did with like the Wii. They completely like went all in on a motion controller,
Yeah.
and it worked for like motion games, but like if you wanted to play a more traditional like
Yeah. It
game, it was
wouldn't
kind
work.
of cumbersome.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
No, I like what they're doing. I like the design of it. I hope like because it had like hints of like that blue, like they always
hmm
have kind of in their controllers. You know what I'm talking about, like that. Um, and so I'm hoping that's played into their system as well. Like I hope the controller
like yeah,
looks similar to
is
the system.
I think it probably will be. I mean, typically, I mean, I think you'd be hard pressed to kind of find a console that didn't like match the color scheme or the look of its controller here.
Yeah, like I don't know if they're lights or what because I'm looking at the controller right now and I like the blue kind of by the touchpad. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I think it looks really good. Now I'm sure there'll be different colors. A lot of
yeah,
people online have been skinning it.
yeah. Like they made like Mario ones. They made like
Yeah,
yeah. They've been playing around with it. I mean, yeah. No, it's a really cool looking design, and I mean it's definitely a little bit of a departure from like what Sony has done in the past, because typically what they've done pretty much like for their entry level consoles, like the ones that they have like available at launch, they're typically like like a black or gray color, and then they have like the DualShock pretty much stay the same for the most part here.
right. Yeah, no, I think it'll be good.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Now, I mean, my question is like, so have you seen the Xbox Series X controller?
Yeah,
Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty much exactly the same as the Xbox One, maybe just with a few very very minor tweaks, but it's I think
well,
one of the
that's what I was meaning. That controller, the Elite or the whatever
yeah,
the
whatever it's called.
next model up was from the standard one. That's kind of what it was giving me vibes of.
Yeah, but I'm but like the point I'm trying to make is basically like is are we actually going to be able to use like our previous controllers with these new consoles here? Just because I always
Uh,
feel like that's kind of like um kind of like a bad way to like win goodwill for your audience if you don't have that, especially if it's like doable, because
because
the
it's just
thing is
Bluetooth.
right, exactly, because the thing is like from what I can see, the PS5 controller does not seem to be like really like that much different in terms of like functionality than a regular PS4 controller.
Yeah,
So I mean, if like you could like say, hey, you got your PS5 controllers, if you like them, you can buy them. But if you still have your PS4 controllers lying around and you want to have friends over and play games, you can still do that too here.
yeah. I mean that would be cool. Now
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to do that just because they
money.
want you to buy the new controller.
Yeah, no,
So
it makes sense.
I'm sure you could hack it somehow. I don't know.
Oh,
Like
are you sure? I'm sure, but I mean, I don't know anything about that, so and I ain't got
I don't
time for it.
either. I ain't got
Yeah,
time. All right, so let's continue on in our news. We have some news with E3. Obviously, that was going to be changing formats, but people were thinking it was going to go to a digital format. It's now
Right.
not. There's nothing going on as far as E3 this year.
Yeah. No,
But
absolutely.
that oh sorry.
Oh no, continue.
I was just saying, but that's not going to change the news that's going to come out around when E3 was supposed to come out. Like
No, it doesn't seem that way. No.
to me, E3 is like a host, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like the company that hosts these things, but those individual companies could very easily do their own thing.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, E3 was, when they announced that they were canceling due to the coronavirus, they were thinking about doing a digital event to replace their, physical live show here, but ultimately they decided not to.
Because what are they going to
Um,
do? Host the other companies? Like,
right? No,
hey, come check
yeah,
ours out. And PlayStation's going to be up in a minute. And PlayStation's like, we're just going to do our own over here. We don't need you.
exactly. Well,
So
and yeah,
yeah, I mean,
yeah, no, it legitimately made no sense to me, like
no.
why you would do that, especially when like the big companies like excuse me, Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft are more than capable of doing their own digital events, and quite frankly, Nintendo and Sony already do that here,
Yeah,
and Sony wasn't even planning on coming to E3 in the first place, so
no,
they
yeah.
are they already have like their own plans in motion for whatever it is that they want to be talking about or revealing here.
Yeah, I mean, and there's stuff that comes in the light, like the light of these cancellations. Like, there's probably gonna be different kinds of platforms and shows that come out of this, and
Hmm.
probably just like, I'm thinking of like the Nintendo stuff, the Nintendo Treehouse. Obviously, they can still do that stuff,
Oh yeah, no,
um,
they can do that in house. It's not going to be a problem for them.
right? And hopefully by then, the bans are lifted so that they can actually, and it's media, so I guess it wouldn't matter because that's an essential uh, job or whatever. So they'd still be able to. Um, do the treehouse and all that stuff and have their spotlights of different games and whatnot. But
Yeah, exactly.
um it seems like they'll probably they're gonna do a show next year. We'll see. I mean,
Yeah, I mean that is the plan. Is they are planning on continuing the E3 physical live show in 2021.
I
But
think it's cool for people to go to, but for the mass, like the mass of people, like
yeah,
the rest who can't go or can't afford to go, like I mean,
yeah,
I don't care if they cancel E3 like indefinitely, like unless like in companies take it upon themselves to release new stuff and maybe there'll be other events that they can demo stuff at.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, the
I've always
thing is
wanted to go to E3, but
no, and I have too until I went to PAX one year, and like if PAX is like a smaller event than E3, then I probably don't want to go just because like just to play like just like almost any game, even like my friend Pedro, like when I played it at PAX, like I was like waiting in line for probably like about 40 minutes to play just that game.
so it was Disneyland ride time.
Yeah, it was. And no, I mean, it kind of sucks. I think if you are going to do something like that, I feel like you do have to have like a little bit of a better system. Like, you have like slots or like you give like your phone number to like the guy who runs the line, and then he texts you when your spot is open or something like that, or something
Yeah,
along those lines. But yeah, I mean it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I mean E3 is has been known as gamers Christmas, like for a
hmm
while now, just because you get all the big reveals, you get to see all the big games, you get just endless demos and all that. And I mean, no, it's great, but I mean, it definitely seems like the show has kind of lost its focus, like depending on which company you're talking to, just because sometimes it just becomes about a spectacle, like Sony's last E3 conference, they had like a dude like played the banjo for like Last of Us 2 on stage, and then
and
another
you're
guy
like,
and like
why? Yeah.
another guy play Japanese flute for Ghost of Tsushima, and it's like
Gosh.
it's like, okay, I mean, I get where you're trying to go with, and you're trying to take advantage of like the stage and like the showmanship of it here. But it's
Sure.
like really like I didn't come here for, for this kind of thing. Now
No, nobody
I will
did.
say I am a little bit of a hypocrite on that, just because when the one year where like Nintendo opened their press conference with like a Zelda Symphony for their 25th anniversary, I'm like, yeah, I'm into that.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's like it's one of those things where it's like I think they kind of they lost their focus on terms of like what people actually want to see. It's like, people just want to see the games. They don't want to see like how your Xbox works with like, ESPN you know, or like
Yeah.
having a
I
physical
don't care.
car on stage here. It's like just show the games, show us why we should be excited, and then
And
just go
shut
from
up.
there.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, yes, yes.
But
But
yeah, I think it's cool. Like here's kind of what my fear. I guess not a fear because I'm not going to go to E3 regardless. But
right.
I just don't know after this. Like, will people want to get crammed into a big building? Just kind of like that
Yeah.
lingering kind of fear of what's going on. But also just like the way that the culture's shifting towards a digital platform. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
not needing a physical person like on a stage to tell them information, like
Yeah.
if they were to just drop their digital events, like a lot of the times at these events we would get big reveals like the consoles, and so
Yeah. Or
but
yeah,
that's already
even like
that's
I was
information's already coming out.
yeah, no, absolutely. And no, it's just one of those things where yeah, it's honestly it's just kind of like an antiquated model of like how to reveal stuff, because I mean the thing is like Sony, one of the big companies in the video game industry, has skipped E3 twice now here. I
Yeah.
mean, and it honestly makes sense. You save money, you get to determine when information rolls out. You don't have to necessarily be strictly lined up with like, say, okay, we have this June deadline that we need to show, God of War 2 or Horizon Zero Dawn 2 or something like that. So we need to make sure we're crunching and making sure we have a playable demo live and ready here, where it's just like, no, we can kind of control the message at our own pace here. And,
Yeah.
we don't have anybody necessarily expecting anything big or bombastic from us when we might not have something big or bombastic.
Yeah, and I love that because how many times have we gotten teased of specific titles of video games, huge titles, way too early?
Okay, so you remember when Kingdom Hearts 3
Oh, I
was first
remember.
revealed?
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kingdom
And
Hearts 3, and then how many years later was it that it actually came out?
oh gosh, I think it was
5?
revealed 2013 and it came out last year.
So 6
So
years almost.
6 years. Well, in
Yeah.
even speaking more on that, so so Final Fantasy 7, the remake that just came out today, actually, as we're recording, they originally revealed that was actually in development, that was actually happening, I think 2015's E3, and we are just getting it now,
Oh my gosh.
and it's not even the full game. Like this is
No,
just like
they're doing it in
part one.
chapters. Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing it in chapters.
That's weird. I mean,
Yeah,
that game definitely looks like something I'm interested in, especially they changed the combat to kind of like
yeah,
more hack and slash, I guess. But even
yeah,
still, it's like, or like Metroid Prime 4, like, and
yeah,
then they
yeah,
cancel it, and it's like,
yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
why would you like
Announce
every
it like if you don't have like enough to like really show for it here
totally?
type
So
thing.
I think that's gonna this what is happening right now is gonna remedy that,
Yeah,
because now, like you said, there's not gonna be this, hey, we need to have this, awesome presentation and blow Microsoft or whoever out of the
yeah,
water and
yeah,
have us look like the good guys and like we had the best E3 presentation. Like that's
yeah.
non-existent anymore.
Yeah, maybe not, because I mean, part of that, or part of like I think, like teasing those games that are like way, early in terms of like the like, just like showing like a logo for like Metroid Prime 4, or like teasing like, Kingdom Hearts 3 or Final Fantasy 7 remake, like, years and years before they actually are going to actually come out, or before you
Yeah.
actually start like any serious development on them. I think that you might still see that just because it's a way to show like investors and stockholders say, okay, you still need to invest in this company. You still need to like keep your stocks in the company because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get it from that perspective too, for sure.
Yeah, so I think you will see a little bit more of that. I just don't think it'll be like as I think you might get a little bit more substance with it, like rather than like say like for example like last not this last yeah I think it was actually the last E3 or maybe the E3 previous. I'm not entirely sure, but Bethesda
Oh
teased
yeah,
like Elder Scrolls 6,
yeah.
the sequel to
Haven't heard a peep about it.
Oh no, all they did was just show like really just a
A
logo.
logo.
So I mean, and so yeah, no, so it's one of those things where it's like, okay, like we might still get like those teases of games that are like really, really far away, but we might actually get more substance than just a logo. We might actually get like maybe a cinematic trailer. Maybe we might get like, like a small gameplay montage. Who knows?
Yeah, I think that that's good. Like instead of getting games, the announcement 5 years early, maybe it's 2 or 3, which is still fine. Like, but like
Yeah.
you're saying, give us some gameplay, give us, or maybe a year or two. Like honestly, I don't care if you announce a game 3 years from now. I'll probably forget about it anyway.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
so unless it's a big one, like obviously, Metroid Prime 4 would be insane.
Yeah.
But then you get the letdown of things not falling into place and then having to cancel. That's what happens
Yeah.
when you kind of jump the gun a little too early. But we'll
Yeah,
see.
exactly. Well, I mean, in Metroid Prime's 4's case, I'm kind of glad I think that they did reveal it, just because reason being, like, uh, so they kind of set the expectation of saying, okay, we are making this thing that people have wanted for a long time here,
Yeah.
and so we're finally doing it now. If like let's say they waited like a couple years to like kind of see how development was going to like reveal it, they and obviously they ended up like essentially canceling that game just because it wasn't up to their standards and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think if nobody heard anything about that game and there was no expectation to like actually deliver on it, I think they would just have canceled it quietly and it would just been history.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. But I mean, in other related news, I mean, IGN in wake of like, E3's absence is doing like basically this summer long, I guess, digital event that called Summer of Gaming, which it starts in June, and it actually does have some big companies that are going to be essentially attending it. So it's going to have 2K, Square Enix, Sega, and Devolver Digital, which I mean, I feel like this is probably going to be more and more of the future of like how game announcements are going to be revealed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. So I mean, I think the long story short on this whole thing is E3 has to evolve, or it's just going to have to settle for being like something like smaller along the lines of like say PAX or something.
Yeah. Which is
Yeah.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. A new show on Netflix coming out in May 29th is Space Force.
Yep. So
oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I honestly forgot this show was being made just because we got that tease, like, I feel like a year, maybe 2 years ago or something like
I
that
think it
about
was
this.
a year because I don't remember like it being too long ago. Because I
Yeah,
totally
but
remember when they announced it, like, hey, this is a new thing that
yeah,
is going to be happening soon, and then you didn't hear anything about it, and now they're like, oh, it's coming out next month. It's like what?
yeah, no,
Which I'm
I
stoked
mean,
for.
granted, I really haven't been like really trying to like dig up like too much on this
No, I
show or
haven't
like
either.
or anything of that sort, but it definitely seems like we just had radio silence on it for like a while.
Yeah. So what this show is, in case of those of you who don't know anything about Space Force, it's not about the actual military. Like it's not a documentary of them developing the actual Space Force. The Space Force is a real branch of the military now, but
Yeah,
it's going to be a comedy, like a workplace comedy, with some just fire actors,
yeah. I mean, we
who are
got
no,
Steve.
huh?
I was just gonna say we got Steve Carell, we got John Malkovich, and Ben Schwartz, like all gonna be in the same room together here.
Yeah, and all of them are no stranger to workplace comedies. They've all, I mean, obviously, I don't know about John Malkovich, but Steve Carell, obviously, The Office. Ben
Yeah,
Schwartz, he was,
Parks and
sorry,
Rec.
on Parks and Rec
Yeah.
as John Ralphio.
Yeah.
Arguably the best character on that show.
Yeah. Well, now he
Uh,
now he gets to be pretty much like one of the main characters instead of just kind of like a side character that shows
right.
up every once in a
Yeah,
while.
and I think that's going to be great. Like, and I believe I don't have any actual sources written down, but Greg Daniels is the man behind the show.
Yeah, no, I think that is accurate. I do remember seeing something about that here, which
And like with this cast and Greg
Mhm.
Daniels, so Greg Daniels brought The Office to America. He's the one who developed the American Office.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a hit.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm optimistic here. I mean, they definitely got some talent backing the show here, and I definitely think we need a show that has like some clever humor feeling it because I think ever since like Community and Parks and Rec went off the air, we've
Yeah.
kind of we've kind of had like a void of that. So
Yeah, there hasn't been like a standout comedy show, I don't think, in a long time. Like the only ones
yeah,
that I think come close, and their humor is so different, which is weird to me, but like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but it's
yeah, I
not
was
even
about to
close
say
to as
that.
funny.
Yeah, no,
Um,
it's
it's more of a
very
serious show with a little with humor thrown in. Like
yeah.
it's a weird vibe. Anyway,
Yeah, no, it takes a different tone than like like The Office or Parks and Rec here, and it kind of has more of a I don't know, just kind of more of like a more traditional sitcom vibe, I guess. I don't
yes,
know.
yeah,
Yeah,
totally. But yeah, other than that, I like the Goldbergs. I think that show's pretty funny. But
yeah,
other than that, yeah, there's not been anything like Thursday nights were the stuff back in like 2009. I want to say
yeah.
2009. That's like when Community came out. Parks and Rec
That's
had
when
been
Parks and
going,
Rec.
yeah,
Yeah,
and then Office had been going for a while. So
yeah.
hopefully we can get to a place where I don't care if it's on Netflix. I don't care, but like having more shows like this developed, like I think needs to happen.
No, I
Um,
agree.
Now, I'm interested to see how this plays out. Like, are they going to drop? Is Netflix going to drop it all at once? Or and also, I'm fine either way. Like, I sometimes like waiting for episodes, like because if
Yeah,
I binge it, it's done, and I'm like upset. I'm like, dang it, I should
yeah,
have waited.
yeah,
Um, but we're in quarantine.
yeah,
Why don't they just give it to us now?
yeah. No,
Like,
it is kind of odd.
it's a
Maybe they're.
month out.
I mean, maybe they just needed to like touch up a few things or like finish some post production stuff on it here. I
It
mean,
could be, but maybe even okay. So let's say they have it all done. Post production's almost done. They're doing the last few episodes.
mhm.
Now they haven't come out and said how many episodes there are. I'm guessing because it's Netflix,
Probably.
it's probably a little bit shorter. It's probably like 12.
I was
Um.
thinking like maybe more along the lines of 8, maybe here, but
Oh, really? No,
I
I
mean,
don't. It's a
I,
comedy show. I don't think they're going to do that for a comedy.
I mean, you never know, but
Yeah. I mean, I would say 12, and if we got 20, I would be really surprised. But
yeah,
um, if that's the case, give us the first one now and just kind of release them week by week. That I think would help out everyone in quarantine right now as far as, everyone. I mean, I haven't watched it, but everyone's watched The Tiger King and
yeah,
whatever else is on Netflix right now. Excuse
yeah,
me. So yeah, just give it to us now.
yeah. No, I mean, no, it definitely. Yeah, I mean, unless like Netflix has something else like that's slated for like this month or you know or leading up to excuse me, Space Force's release. I mean, yeah, I mean, it would make more sense for them to drop it right now here. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how I want like the release format to be. I don't know if I want it all at once or if I want it, week by week. I think probably
Yeah.
all at I think probably all at once, just because like that's kind of how I typically enjoy comedy shows. Because like if you have like one episode that just didn't quite hit in terms of like humor or like really entertainment value, it just kind of like, well, okay, that was a letdown. Now I gotta wait a whole week for it to hopefully pick back up here. Whereas like, if you have it all there at once, I kind of feel like, okay, that was just a bad episode. We can just move on and just get to like some better stuff or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the beauty of rewatching it, but like when it's first, like, I loved waiting for The Mandalorian to come out. I mean, obviously it's a whole different show, but I love
Yeah,
each week having like an episode come out.
yeah,
And so I don't know. I think that we're so used to it just being like, here it is, go
yeah,
have fun.
yeah. No, I mean
Um,
for the Mandalorian, I mean, I definitely enjoyed the week by week thing, even though like technically it would be a little bit more inconvenient just because I don't have it all at once to like just binge. But no, I mean, it just kind of gave us like the conversation pieces that would happen throughout the week. Instead of like you know, like binging all the episodes like within like a weekend or something like that,
yeah.
chances are you're gonna forget like pretty much the majority of like or like some of the smaller episodes or some of the other things that happened where you're only gonna focus on like some of the big things.
Yeah, I think I've been, there's definitely things I like binging. Like obviously my background music a lot of the time at home, whether I'm doing chores or working or whatever, in the background it's usually like Parks and Rec or The Office or Community or whatever.
Right.
Um Now, and I'll continue to watch those shows probably forever.
Hmm.
But I really did enjoy waiting every week to watch, another episode. And I think there's like for me, I'm busy doing this, that, and the other thing. Obviously, it's quarantine, so but there's still stuff to be done. And right now, like it's weird that they're coming into like a summer date. I think that's really odd because that's when people aren't watching TV as much.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, well, and my theory is like they probably initially were maybe trying to do something in the fall, maybe,
yeah,
and then and they got bumped up
mhm.
because of the quarantine.
That's super possible. That's actually what I was thinking was maybe this was like late August release date, and they're like, "Hey, this is pretty much done. Let's just put it out in May."
Yeah,
But if that was the train of of thought, then like, hey, let's put it out now. That's what I would
yeah,
have done. Is like, I guess they probably have to do some promotional stuff and
yeah.
have Steve go out there and talk to he was
To
just on
like,
John Krasinski's YouTube channel. So
yeah, it was, and like yeah, you'd have to have them like go on some like late night talk shows or something like that. But I don't know, maybe like Netflix is kind of like really banking on like the quarantine, just word of mouth and like social media to really pick up because
dude, I think that show would if it came out now, it'd
yeah,
blow up.
no, I think you're
Everyone would
right.
be watching it.
Well, I mean, like freaking Tiger King, like is like getting
Yeah,
insane numbers.
who would have watched that show if they weren't in quarantine?
I mean, to be honest, I might have passed on it. I don't think it would have gotten
I still haven't seen it.
like I don't think it would have gotten the reception that it's getting if like
Is it
there
good?
was.
Is it a good show? This is a
So I mean,
tangent, but
so here's the thing. It's a documentary. So I
yeah.
mean, you kind of have to like, just be like, okay, if it's just telling me like exactly what happened, then yes. Like, then yeah, I mean it's serviceable and whatnot. Now, in terms of like, entertainment value, I would say it's definitely entertaining just because basically, I mean, one of the things that I've come to realize by watching that show that people that own like exotic animals or like, big cats or anything like that, they're freaking crazy, man. Like every single
Well,
one of
yeah.
them. No,
Yeah.
like legitimate, not just the fact that like you have like a man-eating pet in your house, but just the fact that there's like just so much like other stuff and like, conspiracy and like yeah, it's crazy like how much stuff that these people are into here when you're just thinking like, oh, these guys just like hanging out with jungle animals that might kill them or something like that.
Yeah, why not?
But no, I think it's a very well made documentary just because they have like so much footage of like the actual people that are involved in all this here.
Yeah.
And uh, I mean, I think like for like just an entertainment value wise, I mean, I think it's pretty decent. I don't think it's like, I don't think it's like that superhero documentary of like real life superheroes that we watched that one time.
Oh yeah.
Like that's entertaining as everything here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's I think it's pretty good. I mean, it definitely goes to like some kind of like weird and dark places here and all that. But I mean, no,
Mm,
I think it's good.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, we got some Nintendo news, but it's not in the form of video games. It is
No, it is not.
talking about the Mario Lego set that they revealed last week, and to me, now they released 3 different sets. They have like they called the starter set, then they
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they called the other set,
Yeah, I don't know
uh,
either.
and then they had the Bowser Castle set, which we were hoping they would do something like that.
Yeah,
This set to me looks really arbitrary. Um,
yeah,
Bowser's Castle is the only cool one, and I say that like
with an
if I had to
asterisk.
right, if I had to choose between this set or like a Star Wars Lego set or any other kind of cool set, I'd choose a different cool set.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm guessing, especially with how the Mario's like interactive and stuff, it's
Yeah,
gonna be cost way too much money for me to even plan on checking out.
yeah, no,
I don't-
exactly.
and honestly, I don't think they thought this the whole thing through. Like I will commend them for being innovative and doing something different with Lego,
Mm-hmm.
but they should have just done a basic Lego set with Mario.
No, I agree. I mean, the thing is like, yes, Bowser's Castle, like from the sets that were revealed, looks like to be the best set. It's actually kind of bigger, looks kind of more like what you would expect from a Mario Lego set here. But it's still kind of a letdown because I mean, I kind of was kind of expecting like maybe like something along the scale of like maybe a Hogwarts or something like that, maybe, or something along those lines. And
Yeah,
like you said, I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to do something different and unique, and I commend them for that. But I mean, this definitely seems like a missed opportunity, especially when you got like things like say iconic places in Mario, like say like oh yeah, you can build Peach's castle from
yeah, dude.
64. Or
Can you
I mean,
imagine? I would buy that
exactly,
set. I would buy that
exactly.
set.
Or like let's say like for example like okay you can build world 1-1 like and like you have Mario as like a like the style like as like an 8-bit type of style from like the original Super Mario Brothers here like basically it's a 3D diorama of like world 1-1 in your house
Yeah.
here.
No,
I mean
I
no
think
that'd
I
be
think this is
cool.
the starting point. Oh, it would be super cool. I think this is the starting point for them, obviously. But I mean, I don't know how well these sets will do. Maybe they do really well, but
Yeah,
I'm hoping they also do other sets that are not this kind
yeah.
of blend of video game and Lego.
Yeah, I mean, well, right now it seems like the target demographic for this is mostly kids here,
Yeah.
even though like this is probably going to be ridiculously expensive here. But yeah, I mean, because the thing is like I think like like adults that like building Legos, typically they like the bigger things, the more complex structures. They want to make like their cities, their Death Stars, skyscrapers, what have you here. So I mean,
Yeah.
I think if they're continuing along this line of like saying, "Hey, no, this focus is just going to be completely for kids here," then I'd think it might be we might be a little bit out of luck in terms of like getting like some of the sets that we really want, like Mario 64 Peach's Castle or something like that.
Totally.
Yeah,
All right. Well, let's talk about some Corona news as far as on the entertainment industry and kind of what's going on. But as of now, all of Marvel's Phase 4 projects have been pushed back.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's yeah. I mean,
So, yeah, we got Black Widow November 6th of this year, which I was surprised they didn't get pushed back further.
mhm.
Eternals,
Which
February 2021. Shang-Chi, May 7th, 2021. Doctor Strange 2, November 2021. And Thor, February 28th, now in 2022.
yep.
Um, Now, still no word on their Disney Plus um, shows.
Yeah,
Uh,
which I mean, I feel like that is going to be the next thing on the chopping block here. In
yeah,
all honesty,
unfortunately, like,
I mean,
um,
obviously WandaVision's done. I think they're just or they finished doing the filming on that, so I think they just have to do like maybe some post production work and they'll be good. But I think Falcon and Winter Soldier is probably going to get probably delayed till next year, unfortunately.
yeah, yeah, we'll stay tuned for that. Also, Batman's delayed now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, or at least their production schedule's gotten halted.
Yeah,
I don't know what that means. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be delayed now.
probably. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
And then Disney kind of came out, and what they've been doing is releasing things on Disney Plus that aren't their bigger movies. Like as of recently, Onward just came. I mean, it literally hit theaters when all this was going on,
Yeah,
all the coronavirus stuff, and so Onward's now on Disney Plus, but now they're thinking of releasing, Artemis Fowl, which was a Disney movie that was going to come out.
Yeah.
They're, not their top tier movies, but maybe their B tier, C tier movies that were going to be coming out are now going to
Yeah.
premiere on Disney Plus.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, well, and another thing about like on the Onward thing, like I think, yeah, I mean, definitely, I think the coronavirus definitely hurt Onward in the box office, but I also think that I just don't think there was like really that big of a turnout for that movie in general here. So I
No, there
think
wasn't.
so I feel like if maybe if there's like a movie that just isn't performing up to like, the standards that Disney wants, like they might just like, say yeah, they might just pull the plug and just say, okay, that didn't work out. Let's put it on Disney Plus, see if we can pick up some subscribers off of this. Which, by the way, I mean, in related news, Disney Plus did reach 50 million subscribers on Disney Plus. I think this week here. So
Yeah, it makes sense with everyone home.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it's weird that this is the side note too, but Onward was actually a pretty good movie. I don't know why people didn't want to go see it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's I wouldn't say it's one of Pixar's like, like top 10 or
No.
top 5, but I mean, it's a solid movie. I mean, I think it's, Chris Pratt and Tom Holland, just hanging out, having a good time. So yeah, no, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, totally. And I totally like it. That movie was probably more relatable for me than a lot of other Pixar movies, just because of Chris Pratt's older brother role.
Yeah,
I feel like is like a really, it reminds. I mean, my wife was like, "That's you," and I'm like, "Okay, thanks." Like, no, I mean, it was definitely relatable. Like it wasn't necessarily like, I guess the younger brother was coming of age, but the older brother was like, just a different role that we haven't seen, I don't think, really, in Pixar.
No, it really wasn't. I mean, I really liked how they I mean, it's kind of a plot twist, but kind of not here. I mean, so to speak. I don't know if plot twist is the right verbiage for it, but no, I really liked how like they kind of revealed like, exactly, what's what's always been kind of going on between the two of them the whole time here. I thought that was a pretty neat and one of the best parts of that movie. Yeah,
totally. All right, well, yeah, I think 2020 will be the year of entertainment that never happened.
Yeah, well, it's not only just 2020. I think it's honestly like, anything that's like currently in production or like, was starting to do production.
Push back for sure.
I think, yeah, no, absolutely. So it's kind of a shame, but I mean, what can we do? And yeah.
We got some Switch deals on Amazon, and they have first party titles, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that is cool.
And each of these are going to be for $39.99, so definitely a reasonable price. And it includes Breath of the Wild. So if you don't have that, you need to pick it up.
No, if you own a Switch, you have to buy Breath of the Wild, especially if you've never played it before. Now is the time to play it.
Yep. And then they had Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, which is a port of a Wii U title, which I've heard good things about.
I own it on the Wii U. It's a pretty solid game. It's hard, but it's solid.
Cool. They have Kirby Star Allies, which this is the absolute maximum I'd ever pay for this game. I actually paid for it full price, and
you did.
Was not fun. I mean, it was a little bit, but it was super easy.
Well, yeah, super easy and short here. I mean, this is more of a game designed for like, kids and kids to play with their friends here more than anything here.
Yeah. Then we have Splatoon 2, which is a great game. It's very fun.
Yeah, no, real good game.
And then Octopath Traveler. So
yeah, if you're into old school RPGs, like Super Nintendo style and all that, yeah, this is a pickup.
Check it out. I guess in light of coronavirus, Kevin Conroy's saved the day for Batman fans.
As he always does.
Kevin Conroy is the voice of the Batman from the animated series back in the 90s and has voiced Batman since in video games and different sources of media.
I think you could have just stopped at saying that he is the voice of Batman.
He is the voice of Batman, yes. But they had a comic book, DC does. Now, DC has halted all production, I think, on current comic books as far as distributing. So DC on their Instagram, I didn't get to see this because I didn't find out about this until it was too late, but I'm guessing it'll show up somewhere else in on social media or YouTube. But Kevin Conroy is going to be narrating every issue of Batman: The Adventure Continues comic book based on Batman the Animated Series.
Which, all good things.
Yeah, and so I thought this was just super cool, and so I wanted to talk about it a little. But like, I love the Batman the Animated Series show, especially for people at home. This could be a cool little, it's probably like a 5 to 10 minute video, I'm guessing, if your kids really like Batman the Animated Series. So, and that's also a show that people should check out in quarantine, is Batman the Animated Series. I think it still holds up, at least the later seasons. And if not that, Batman Beyond. It's on
Yeah,
Blu-ray
no, both solid picks. I mean, unfortunately, I think the only way you can really watch them like streaming, streaming wise, is DC Universe. Yeah, so I don't know if you're feeling like playing like musical chairs with your streaming services, you might give it a shot. I don't know. I don't know how much content's on there really to check out.
Yeah, for people with kids at home, I think $8 a month is going to be okay. But I think that's what it still is, maybe $7 or $8. I don't know. But
I think they might have lowered the price. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, well, makes sense with what they have on there.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to take a quick commercial break, then we'll be back with our roundtable review. We're back from our roundtable review. Dorian, take it away.
All right, so pretty short roundtable review this week. I mean, really the only thing we got to talk about is Clone Wars. So,
and we don't have much to say.
I mean, I think we have a little bit more to say than we typically do, but
yeah, I guess.
But yeah, I mean, so this is episode 8, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So why don't you give us the cliff notes of this here?
Okay, so cliff notes real quick. The last few episodes did not matter at all.
No.
And pretty much this was like another stretched episode, it felt like. We got teased a couple things, the Mandalorians in the last episode. Now we get a bigger tease, which is Maul.
Yes, finally.
We finally got the tease. We knew it was coming. The Pikes were afraid and say he knows. They kept saying he knows, and then a hologram pops up, and there's a cloaked man with the voice of Darth Maul, Sam Witwer.
Yeah, I wonder who that could be.
Yeah, and then obviously Crimson Dawn is referenced, and Maul appears. Now, I like the Crimson Dawn reference because it obviously ties in comics and also the Solo movie.
Right, exactly, yeah.
And then Ahsoka is kind of overhearing this conversation and knows that Maul is on Mandalore, which she's like, why is he on Mandalore? So she's unaware of obviously what's going on. And Crimson Dawn is the crime organization that Maul's leading and threatening the Pikes to get them their spice. And the sisters kind of have a side mission. Basically, Ahsoka lets them get out and they come back, and it's not good. Then they end up, they all find out that Ahsoka's a Jedi, and they don't know how they feel about it. And whatever.
They kind of come around on it, like
they do,
towards the end,
because she saved them. But and then the Mandalorians show up, the 3 that were in the last episode, and the one's the leader of Death Watch. I don't remember her name, but she takes off her helmets, and I was just like, I mean, I get it for Clone Wars, but Mandalorians don't take off their helmets. Like,
right? Yeah. I mean, was that just something that was just recently established in the Mandalorian? Or
I don't know. Maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But there's no more Death Watch. Apparently, Ahsoka leaves with them. And this kind of makes me mad, that, we got 3 episodes of basically who cares?
Pretty much, yeah.
And she leaves with the Mandalorians, and they have, I don't get, obviously those 2 sisters aren't going to have any part of the last 4 episodes. And where the heck are the rest of the Jedi?
Yeah, you're talking about
Anakin Skywalker, Mace Windu, anyone, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Plo Koon, I don't care. Kit Fisto, give me anyone. Give me anyone.
No, I mean, you pretty much got I think you pretty much saw most of what you're going to see of Anakin probably in that one episode when they're rescuing Echo and all that. Yeah. No, I mean, here's the thing. This is finally a decent episode. You actually they actually give you something to be excited about here, or like actually show you, okay, like this is the reason why you tuned in here. We're actually like, giving you a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel on this one here. But the thing is like, this is an episode that probably should have been like, I don't know, maybe episode 2 of this season.
Yeah.
In all honesty, you can scrap the Bad Batch stuff. You can scrap like maybe at least like 2, if not 3 of those episodes with the sisters here.
Mm-hmm.
And then just, kind of set it up this way here. But no, it's hopefully we get the good episodes start rolling after this here, because
we have to. There's only 4 more.
I mean, yeah. Otherwise, yeah, no, it's just going to be a big old letdown here. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good episode. But other than that, I mean, that's really all we got for our roundtable review.
Yeah, and also the show as well.
Yeah, I'm excited to see some more Maul. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. We greatly appreciate it. You can check us out on our social medias, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and you can support us on Patreon. But that's it. Have an awesome week. And remember, everyone's a nerd about something.